And joining me now to answer those big questions, two very special guests. I'm joined by Justice Madan Lokur, retired Supreme Court judge, and by Justice Sanjeev Banerjee, former Chief Justice of the High Courts of Madras and Meghalaya. Appreciate both of you joining me on the show. That central question, who will judge the judges? Is an in-house inquiry of the kind that has been ordered by the present Chief Justice, in your view, good enough? I ask this to both of you. Justice Lokur, why don't you take that first? Is this in-house procedure good enough to restore public faith in the judiciary?
Yes, thank you, Rajdeep. So far as the present inquiry that you are adverting to about the cash being found at the residence of a judge, I don't think the present, in-house inquiry would be sufficient, because there are a lot of issues that have been raised. Okay, so it will have to be a sort of an investigation, both by the police and by the fire department, because of the response given by the judge. But, it depends upon each case. There are some cases in the past where the in-house inquiry has worked. For example, I remember doing a case in 2008 when I was a judge in Delhi High Court. Two Chief Justices were also the judges in the in-house inquiry. And we did a very good job. We gave a report in a short time. So that's not a problem. So it really depends upon each case.
Okay, but you're saying in this particular case, given the circumstances, it calls more for a police investigation, or at least a substantial criminal investigation, and not just the in-house inquiry. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Justice Banerjee, your view?
I think the first step is good. An in-house inquiry is good enough, but that in-house inquiry should have, the members of that committee should have access to police and the fire brigade officials and rely on some investigation report from them. So in a sense, I'm agreeing with Justice Lokur, but it should be done by the committee. And once the committee comes out with a report, and which should be as quick as possible, thereafter, law can take its own course.
But should that report, Justice Banerjee, be made? So should that report, Justice Banerjee, be made public? Because the fact is, the general fear is this in-house inquiry is extremely opaque, and therefore the public's right to know will not be there. Today, the judge has already been transferred formally to Allahabad. So we will never know the reality unless that report is made public.
I think it should be made public now that so many facts have come to light. We were dealing with allegations till day before yesterday. Several facts have come to light. And we must know who the other players involved are. There are several names which are doing the rounds. If there are no fixers, you won't get people to fix. So we must find who are the persons at both ends. Mm-hmm. And we should get to the bottom of this, because let's not hide facts. There is corruption in the judiciary, but it's probably not to the extent as you make it out to be at the moment that almost everyone is. Most judges are honest, but there are black sheep and they have to be exposed and thrown out. And that is what we as an institution have failed to do, and we must address this immediately.
Justice Lokur, do you agree with that, that if and when the report is ready, it should be made public? Justice Banerjee seems to believe that that is the only way you will eventually come to the root of the problem, which is corruption in a section of the judiciary.
Yes. You see, it will eventually be made public, in the sense that assuming the judge is found guilty by the in-house committee, and the Chief Justice of India accepts the view of the in-house committee, the impeachment proceedings will start, in which event it will obviously become public. The problem may arise if the judge is found not guilty by the in-house committee. Okay? In that event, of course, if it's made public, good for the judge. So
you mentioned there briefly the word impeachment, and the fear, Justice Lokur, is that impeachment being such an arduous process, it is almost impossible to impeach the judge. Therefore, let us assume, not this specific judge, but any judge tomorrow who's found to be corruption or is known to be corrupt, can he be impeached as easily, particularly in the higher judiciary? Now, the problem is in the lower judiciary, there's already allegations of massive corruption. It's now spreading to the higher judiciary. Is impeachment the answer? Do we need to find a better way, a quicker, better, time-bound way to ensure doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani?
You see, impeachment is a process, all right? After the process is over, after the process of impeachment is over, a person may be guilty, a person may be innocent. So impeachment is the process. Now, I think everywhere, it is this process of impeachment that is followed. Now, there are two things. One is that a committee sit to look into the matter before the process starts, or should it be a little later? You see, because after this, once the impeachment process starts, assuming the judge is found guilty, under the Judges Inquiry Act, there will be another inquiry. Okay, so one could argue that why should there be two inquiries? All right, but this inquiry, the in-house inquiry, is only for the purpose of advising the Chief Justice of India whether something has gone wrong, and if so, what is it that has gone wrong, so that if necessary, he can have an inquiry under the Judges Inquiry Act.
Impeachment specifically, Justice Banerjee, does it really work in the context of India in all these decades? It's never really reached fruition.
It is a political process, so therefore it's subject to political considerations. Once it cleared one of the houses, and the judge resigned at the end of it without waiting for the fate in the other house. But there should be an in-house process, a memorandum of procedure, and none better than Justice Lokur and minds like him to set it down, both as to what should be done in cases like this, where there is a set of rules that would be followed, and also about the collegium system. And I mentioned the collegium system because this must not be used as an excuse to dismantle the collegium system, because then the independence of the judiciary will be gone. There are ways to improve it, but this must not be the excuse. As I hear it bandied all around that should go, but until we have a better process, this is the best.
Until we have a better process, this is the best. But critics will say, Justice Banerjee, it's a cozy club. Will judges be able to really do the kind of honest job that they are required to do when it involves a fellow judge with whom they may have a relationship?
The committee members have been chosen, hopefully, with the confidence of the Chief Justice of India, and there you must have some faith in the institution, in the office of the Chief Justice of India, that he would have chosen men of merit, of impeccable integrity, who will get to the bottom of this.
The fact is, though, Justice Lokur, there is this diminishing public faith. Now, you could call it that this is speculation, these are rumors, this is gossip, innuendo. The corridors of the Supreme Court and various courts are full of all kinds of gossip and innuendo. But dal mein kuch to kala hai. So therefore, do you really believe that an in-house system, a cozy club, can actually bring a resolution to cases of corruption?
Yeah, you see, I don't know what you mean by a cozy club. Okay, now look at it like this. If a bureaucrat commits a crime, say corruption, a departmental inquiry is held by whom? By his senior or somebody superior to him. If a policeman does something wrong, a departmental inquiry is held by whom? By a senior police officer. So this system, whether it pertains to bureaucrats, whether it pertains to the police, whether it pertains to judges, whether it pertains to anybody else, it's the people who are there, their peers, who judge whether something wrong has been done or not. So this cozy club idea, is it's a nice expression, but I don't think it works.
Okay, Let me give you some hard facts, Justice Banerjee and Justice Lokur. Declaration of assets of High Court judges. Less than 7% of High Court judges in India have publicly declared their assets. Assets declared publicly only by 49 of 763 sitting High Court judges. 0 judges from 18 of the 25 High Courts have declared their assets. Justice Banerjee, should there be therefore compulsory mandatory asset declaration and an audit every year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is imperative. But I don't think that the assets should be made public. That is where a lot of judges fear. But declaration of assets every year with an audit is absolutely imperative. And there should be some mechanism available to the judiciary itself to undertake this kind of an investigation and audit. There could be a judicial audit kind of service, like there should be a judicial management service.
Justice Lokur, do you agree with Justice Banerjee? Compulsory mandatory asset declaration?
Absolutely, absolutely. You see, so far as the district judiciary is concerned, all right, they have to declare their assets every year, all right, and they put it in a sealed cover and give it to the district judge and perhaps give it to the High Court. All right. Now, so far as government officials are concerned, they also have to declare their assets, if not every year, every 2 years. I don't know what the procedure is. So I don't see any reason why judges of the High Courts or of the Supreme Court should be exempted from this. But I agree with Justice Sanjeev Banerjee. Give it to the Chief Justice. You don't have to make it public for everybody. There have been instances, I know my assets were declared publicly. The Delhi High Court judges, all of us declared our assets publicly. So, yeah, but then at least the minimum is to declare it to the Chief Justice.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one last question to both of you. A number of senior lawyers, and indeed in some instances judges, have suggested that there is deep-rooted corruption in the higher judiciary. Attorney General of India, K.K. Venugopal, told the Supreme Court he has the names of 9 former judges of the Supreme Court who've said there is corruption in higher judiciary. You've had others, former Judge Markande Kaju saying 50% of higher judiciary corruption. Former Law Minister Shanti Bhushan claiming that former Chief Justices of India are involved in corruption. I want both of you to, in a way, honestly tell me, where do you stand on this? First you, Justice Banerjee. Is the corruption as deep-rooted as is being claimed, and is what we've seen in the last few days a tip of the iceberg?
There is corruption in the judiciary and in the higher judiciary. There is no doubt about that. I can speak up to my level, which is the High Court. And my experience shows that there are several excellent judges. There are several other judges who, because of a faulty appointment process, come to enjoy the perks. But there are several black sheep. Percentage-wise, I wouldn't think that it would exceed 20, maybe at the most. But there's the other aspect which we forget. Judges don't go out to get money. There are fixers who are waiting to fix them. What about regulatory bodies in professional organizations? What about the Bar Council, the Medical Council, the Chartered Accountants bodies? These bodies are all defunct today. These bodies do not exercise any disciplinary authority. So today we've got to look at the entire system. Judges start as lawyers. And these bodies, regulatory bodies, don't do their job. They're completely politicized.
Justice Lokur, your view. There are fixers out there who may be well fixing cases. Judges may be beneficiaries in some cases. Is the issue as deep-rooted as some fear and goes to the very top of the judiciary?
I don't think it's 50% or 20% or something. Of course, I have no personal knowledge. But my guess, at least from conversations with others, does indicate that yes, there is corruption at the High Court level. Right? How widespread it is, I don't know. At the Supreme Court level, I can very confidently say that there is no corruption. Okay, but whether it is fixers or whether it is somebody else who's involved in all this, I can't say. I don't know how money is passed on to judges for a judgment. I have no idea at all.
But if I were to ask both of you one solution that you believe is needed to in some way restore public confidence, what would that be? Very quickly, Justice Banerjee, you first.
this should be, used as an occasion to set up a system which is transparent, a system which will restore faith, and a system which is quick and would produce ready solutions without,
So what is that system? What is that system? Can you be more specific?
we have to have a set down in-house mechanism for such purpose.
Okay. That in-house mechanism, many believe, does exist. There are questions how effective it is. But Justice Lokur, what is that one solution? Is there a magic bullet out there?
No, I don't think there's a magic bullet. What we have to do, I think, this is a very serious thing. If judges are corrupt, it's very, very serious. So we need to debate and discuss this, not, sort of a casual debate, but have an in-depth debate, get the viewpoint of several people. I mean, it could be viewpoints of judges, it could be the viewpoint of lawyers. Debate it. I mean, don't just rush into a solution. Have a solution which is, in a sense, cast iron.
So you're saying the Chief Justice, no less, could call all the stakeholders involved and trigger off a debate. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the time has come for that.
Okay. Justice Lokur, Justice Banerjee, for joining me on this show. Thank you very much. We will keep tracking this story. As both of you have said, it is extremely, extremely grave, and public confidence in the judiciary is at stake. I appreciate both of you joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.